Chris, what is our second main topic today?
This is from Geralt of Riverdale. The drama surrounding Fast 10 just keeps getting more interesting. There was a story in The Hollywood Reporter that there was a massive clash between Lynn, the studio, and Diesel, and that the budget had blown up to $300 million. The first Fast and Furious movie was made for $38 million, just for comparison. At this point, can they even make Fast 11 with all the drama making 10?
All right, thanks a lot for saying that in. And look, what is beyond dispute is that Fast and the Furious is one of the most successful movie franchises ever. I mean, that can't be debated or argued about.
Billions, John.
Billions. Capital B. Billions upon billions of dollars. I think it's hovering around $6 billion that this franchise has made. And even coming out of the pandemic era, the last one, as crappy as it was, made over $700 million. I mean, when that's your bad day at the office, you're doing okay. Now, of course, I wasn't a fan of the most recent Fast and the Furious, even though I'm a big fan of the franchise. Now, you're right. There has been a lot of drama going on and surrounding the Fast and the Furious franchise. As a matter of fact, just yesterday we were talking about on the show about, Justin Lin, a longtime director of the Fast and Furious franchise, finally said, I've had enough, and he left the project. The New York Daily News put out a report saying they spoke to an inside person that said that part of the problem was that he was frustrated with Vin Diesel, that Vin Diesel had been showing up unprepared, not knowing his lines, showing up late. Don't be late. To quote James Earl Jones from one of the greatest man movies of all time, Best of the Best, don't be late. Don't ever be late. And he would show up late. And according to the report, that he would show up out of shape. And so that's frustrating alone. Now we're also hearing from other reports that he'd just been having enough. Justin Lin just had enough with all the notes. Apparently, obviously Vin Diesel being kind of the main steering force of the franchise, he would put in a lot of creative input, whereas Justin Lin wrote the script, and apparently he just got tired of it. This is a report that comes to us from the good folks over at Screen Rant. Do we have a graphic for that there? This comes to us from Screen Rant. It writes the following. In a new report from The Hollywood Reporter, the issues that have plagued Fast 10 were brought to light. It highlights everything that led up to Lynn's exit, which includes a ballooning budget that is reportedly now at $300 million and was pushed to that point due to cast salaries. Universal has apparently spent well over $100 million of the Fast 10 budget just on the cast of the film. Lynn's abrupt exit didn't help matters either, as it was reported that the shuffle to find a replacement was costing the studios $1 million per day just to keep everyone on standby before they could get someone behind the camera. In comparison, Fast and Furious 9's budget was reported to be $200 million. And then they came out and made the next one for $300 million. And apparently, the people around Fast and Furious is just treating this as a money party for all their buddies. When I come be in our movie, make a big Universal signing some big checks, everybody. Big checks. So come on board and have a good time. Listen, you go on to read more into the report, and there's a lot in there about Justin Lin talking about the fact that, Justin Lin thought he had a scene ready to go, blah, blah, and then Vin Diesel would come in and say, well, no, we want to make changes here, and blah, blah, blah. Or that the scripts would go to Vin, and Vin would say, I don't want to do that action sequence. That one doesn't work for me. And then Justin Lin had to make adjustments. Then the studio would come in and have notes, which of course is a lot of money at stake. Of course they will. And then finally it ended, according to the report in the Hollywood Reporter, there was a notes meeting with Vin, Justin, and one or two of the studio reps that ended in a lot of shouting, and Justin Lin walking out and saying, I'm done. And apparently saying, my mental health is not worth this. Or this is not worth my mental health, I should say. Ooh. Saying this is not worth my mental health. And he walked out, probably walking away, like it said in the report, from $10 to $20 million. And that's how frustrated he was. But let's circle back around here. Let's move away from the drama of this, and let's circle back around here to that number. $300 million. In the words of Chris Carr, for why? For why? Why do you need $300 million to make this movie, and over $100 million just on the cast? Now, to put this into context, this will put this Fast and the Furious movie amongst one of the most expensive films in history. So we've got the most expensive film, which is on Stranger Tides. That's a Pirates of the Caribbean movie. Cost $379 million. To this day, the most expensive film ever made. Then Age of Ultron cost $365 million. Endgame cost $356. Infinity War cost $325 million. Another Pirates of the Caribbean movie came in at $300 million. Justice League made $300 million. And to put this in context, Justice League cost $300 million to make, but that was partially because they practically reshot half the movie.
Right.
And all that kind of stuff. And then the budget ballooned up to $300 million. Fast 10 right now is on par with that Justice League that is a superhero, visual effects heavy movie that had to go back in for half of the reshoots, and it still is costing just as much money. And then you got movies like Solo coming in behind it at $275 million. So this will put it tied. If it just comes in at $300 million, this makes the Fast 10 movie tied for the 5th most expensive film ever made, tied with another superhero film that had to do massive reshoots. So this is ridiculous. Hey guys, we want to take a second to thank the sponsor of today's video, Policy Genius. Now, when it comes to the topic of life insurance, I get it. A lot of people ask, well, why even get life insurance? Well, listen, if someone relies on you financially, whether it's a child, a parent, or a business partner, life insurance gives you peace of mind that they have a financial cushion if something were to happen to you. Policy Genius is here to help you, and they're going to make sure you pay as little for it as possible. By making it easy to compare your options from top companies, Policy Genius can help you make sure you're not paying a cent more than you have to for the coverage you need. So here's how it works. Policy Genius is your one-stop shop to find the insurance that you need at the right price. Just click in the link down in the description or head on over to policygenius.com/Campea to get started. In minutes, you can compare personalized quotes from top companies to find your lowest price. You can save 50% or more on life insurance by comparing quotes with Policy Genius. And the process is easy because the licensed agents at Policy Genius are on hand through the entire process to help you understand your options and make decisions with confidence. Because ultimately, the Policy Genius team works for you, not for the insurance companies. And you can feel confident with Policy Genius because they don't add on extra fees. They don't sell your information to third parties, and they have thousands of 5-star reviews all across Google and Trustpilot. So again, guys, head on over to policygenius.com/Campea or click on their link down in the description below to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you could save. And thank you again to Policy Genius for sponsoring this episode. This is one of these problems that Hollywood, like this spending that Hollywood's made, especially on a car chase movie. I mean, granted, Fast and Furious has become a lot more. I granted that. But still, at the end of the day, $300 million? Hey, maybe instead of Jason Momoa, and don't get me wrong, I love Jason Momoa. I got very excited when I heard he was in this movie. I did. But maybe instead of Jason Momoa, who's probably commanding 10 plus million to be in this movie, why don't you go with somebody else who's really good, might cost 4? I don't know. It just seems, so when you look at all the drama going on, directors walk, first of all, Dwayne Johnson walking away. That's history now, but still, that's relevant to the conversation. Dwayne Johnson walking away. You got the director, a long-term director on this franchise, walking away. You got budgets ballooning up to $300 million. I will tell you what, I'm going to go out on a limb right now. I don't know that 11's going to happen. I mean, unless there's some really big, significant come-to-Jesus moment for Vin Diesel, the producers on this movie, whatever, I have a feeling Universal is going to start looking at this through a much more intense microscope and going, what are we really doing here? Now, of course, winning cures everything, right? Fast 10 comes out, makes $1.3 billion. Nobody will care. Nobody will care. It's all just going to be whispers in the wind. All this drama will be instantly forgotten, and none of the studio people will care because it made $1.3 billion. But after Fast 9, is this going to make $1.3 billion? I don't think so. And I say this as a Fast and Furious fan. So I don't know, Rob, you're hearing about all this drama. You're hearing about budgets, all that kind of stuff. What about this is standing out to you the most here?
Well, first of all, the wild irresponsibility of it all. I mean, you know, I've often said, John, how I'm a huge fan of the way Hollywood productions work, because when they work effectively, they're a thing to behold. Because the people that are working on films, it's like watching a crack military team who really knows what they're doing, or a great Tom Brady-led, I hate to say this, Patriots winning a Super Bowl or something.
Goat, baby. Goat. 7 rings.
But like this, when you get to a set especially on a huge movie that requires incredible logistics and location work and stunts and visual effects. This stuff is pre-planned, so it goes off without a hitch. When you have people deciding, hey, we're a week in and we're going to change action scenes, and I don't like this and I'm not going to shoot that, and I'm like, man, no wonder Justin Lin probably walked away because he's responsible.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day,
It's his name on it.
It's his name on it, and he can't do his job. His job is to make sure that he shows up on set every day and makes his day. Meaning he's got a scheduled shot list. This is what we're shooting. And when the people that are supposed to be your collaborators, Vin Diesel, who's a producer, and your lead, if he's coming out to you and saying, let's change this, and I don't like this action scene, and I'm like, bruh, this should have been done in pre-production.
Yep.
Why we're doing this now, it's wildly irresponsible. It's the worst kind of filmmaking. And you know what? He did the only power you really have in Hollywood is the power to say no. Mm-hmm. It's the power to say no. He's already made a movie that, he's made some very bankable films. I would have probably walked away too, because if this is what's happening in week 1, well, what's going to happen in week 20?
And
or
he's
week
and
30.
he's been here for a number of films already, so he knows how this
5.
goes. Yeah.
And I think that, this is the kind of movie that the studio, when Justin Lin walked, I would have pulled the plug. That's
There's
when
a lot of money on
I
the
know,
line,
but that's
though.
when you blink and you go, you put it on as a producer and star, you blame Vin Diesel and you say, you know what? We're pulling the plug unless you shape up. This is when somebody needs to step up. And there's nobody to step up. There's nobody to step up here. Somebody needed to step up and put the brakes on. Somebody needed to do that, and nobody did. And look where we're at. They're spending $1 million a day. I mean, I'm sure
waiting. On sitting around waiting.
and talking to their insurance company. Who's their production insurance? And their production insurance, are they going to get reimbursed? I mean, it's a mess. And it's the worst. It is the nightmare scenario in any Hollywood production.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, you're hearing about all this, the Justin Lin drama, the budget drama, all this kind of stuff. What parts of this is standing out to you? What's your perception of this?
So I'm not familiar with the franchise, as you know, John.
Yes. You did see Hobbs and Shaw.
I saw Hobbs and Shaw, the only film you need to see in this franchise, I'm sure. In the last one, they went to space. So are they going to literally go there with Elon Musk this time? Is that why we need so much money? We're just doing practical effects this time? I don't understand this. As an actor who has been used to drop a price tag many a time, I'm with you on why are we spending so much money in that regard on actors. I understand these are all bankable, wonderful actors who've been part of this franchise and made this franchise, but that seems like a lot of cheddar for some people. And then also, correct me if I'm wrong too, because I know back in November, they were talking about how they were filming 10 and 11 simultaneously. Is that...
Or they were looking at
They were looking into
going to
doing
shoot
that?
it back to back.
Okay.
I think so.
I was wondering, because then if they are already making 2 films at the same time, that's an even bigger budget issue.
Well, because on that video that Vin Diesel had come out with Justin Lin, he was specifically saying, we're shooting Fast 10.
Okay.
We're shooting Fast 10.
All right.
So it sounds like at least there's going to be some kind of buffer there.
I didn't know if they were just like, we're doing this like Lord of the Rings because it's that prestigious and we'll just do it canonically and in an order. But once again, I need to watch these movies. Didn't they, again, don't know. Did they start getting good at 5? That's what everyone tells me. I know you want me to watch Tokyo Drift.
I thought they turned well, some people will tell you that it's been good from 1.
Yes.
But I will tell you the truth.
Vin's not even in 2 and 3.
Vin's not in, well, he makes an appearance in 3. He makes a quick cameo in
Okay.
3. But for me, who didn't really like 1, 2, or 3, for me, the franchise started to turn around in 4.
Okay.
That's where I went, you know what? This one wasn't bad. And then 5 I loved. And 6 I loved.
But
and
these are all the
7
ones with
I
Lin
loved.
then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He started with 3.
That concerns me, that a bunch of the really bankable films here were his work.
He's walked. But
Yeah.
I think one of the things people have to understand, our audience has to understand about these kinds of franchises, is stars have salary bumps built into their contracts.
yes, as
This is true.
franchises progress.
As franchises progress, that's why a lot of television shows have to end after 7 seasons, because they become the salaries for the stars and even your secondary characters, they get too cost prohibitive, and the return on investment's impossible to achieve, because the salaries based on their performance bonuses and how long things have gone, they just become too expensive. This is 10 movies in. So, and these movies from 4 on have performed quite well. You know, this is a $1 billion franchise club. This is a couple
Well,
of them
Tyrese and Ludacris are making money in this movie that they should not make in any other movie they were in. I like Tyrese and Ludacris in these films. I do.
They're great in these movies.
Yeah, I like them in these movies, but they're going to get paid for this movie numbers they will never get paid in their career for anything else.
And that's problematic. I mean, you know what you want to do, and look, everybody gets what we can, when we can, how we can. I just think that cooler head should have prevailed.
Guys, the question is for you. What do you make of this? There's more behind the scenes drama with Fast 10 than we even knew about. Apparently, it's going to come in at like around $300 million or more dollars, making it one of the most expensive films in history. What should they have done? What can they do at this point? Maybe we're just like, who the hell cares? Because if this thing makes over $1 billion, nobody going to care because winning cures everything. But can the next one make over $1 billion? What do you guys think? Jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts.